Hey folks, welcome back to Utopia Cubed Resurrection. Let's get right into episode 4, where we're going to be putting together some machines today, seeing how much we can bypass some of the early game GregTech stuff. I want to bypass some of the early game GregTech stuff, but I'm not going to bypass the late game GregTech stuff because I'm going to want to do all that really crazy ore processing and such. As you can see, I've vastly expanded the treehouse here. Got some walls up, some windows. I don't have no glass in the windows yet, but I'm not sure that the treehouse really needs glass in the windows. It kind of gives it that nice open feel of an actual treehouse in the jungle. And it's hot and stuff, so just let the breeze go through. The living quarters over here. You see, I've got some carpenter doors, some nice. I haven't decided what I want there on them for texture. I just put some wool on there for temporary. Some more chests to store stuff. Now a little more organized food, miscellaneous drops and stuff, wood-related products. I made myself a nice dolly to move some things around. That was very useful. I also put together a few barrels. Got a barrel of cobblestone over here. And you may have noticed when I poked my head in here that I have a couple barrels of ore. I went out and found some redstone ore because I was going to need that for some of the crafting. And I found a whole lot of it. So I ended up putting that in a barrel. And the magnetite ore that I've been mining up right over there in my mine. Over here, this chest is for ores. You can see it's just pretty much cram-packed full. I might need do a little more organizing, take a couple of these things that aren't really ore related out. I also found while I was mining a dropper that had the factorization manual in it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I might do a little bit of factorization. It's typically not my most favorite mod, but there are some nice things that I can do with that for automation later on. But not anything right this moment that I'm going to be working with in factorization. And then over here, I've got the chest set up for today's crafting. You see, I've just been kind of measuring it out, making sure that I have everything together for all the crafting that I want to do today. And you see it's almost full of various things. Of course, many different piles of stuff so I can organize, count up my resources, and just figure out exactly what I needed for each component that I'm going to be building today. Over here, I've got a nice infinite water source. It's 2 deep. It's 2 by 2 by 2. It's probably not necessary, but I have an idea that I want to do with that, because I want to be able to access it with my bucket, and I also want to be able to come out the side with a pressurized kind of water supply. Then I'm going to be doing some extra utilities, liquid transfer node, and pipes to supply some water to a dynamo. Yes, I'm going to be building a dynamo from thermal expansion in order to get my power. And I'm going to be building thermal expansion machines today. And finally, one other thing, while I was doing all that mining, I broke a couple of picks, but also while I was doing the mining for the redstone, I found a lot of ruby ore. Now, Blue Power adds some gem-based picks. If we go ahead and look at, I was looking up autoclave because I was trying to figure out how to get the last couple pieces of lapis, and I then finally got lucky while I was mining. But if we look up pickaxes, we see there's a number of additional pickaxes other than the GregTech one. Now, if we go into the GregTech one, there's like 50-some different ways to put that together. The vanilla-based ones are kind of it's not worth building them because they're nerfed by GregTech. Now, any of the ones that are not vanilla-based, I assume that the bronze one is probably also nerfed because it's industrial craft, and he knows that that's going to be in the pack. So, because you need industrial craft to have GregTech. The ones that probably are not nerfed are, the Redstone Arsenal ones, the Thaumcraft ones are probably not going to be nerfed. Probably not the thermal expansion ones and the Twilight Forest ones either. Okay, so I have no idea whether he would nerf the applied energistics ones, but he definitely does not nerf the Blue Power pickaxes. And you see there's 3 different ones you can do. You can do a ruby, you can do a sapphire, or an amethyst if you happen to find those gems. Now, fortunately, they don't require that you have the exact gem type there or dictionary to the GregTech rubies. There you go. You see I get my new ruby pick. Now, you can also make a ruby pick by using the GregTech method and putting a ruby head on it. And I went into some single player test things and tested the difference between the basic vanilla or the basic ruby pick versus the GregTech pick with a ruby head on it, made the same with the same materials. They pretty much have the same mining level. They mine about the same speed. The thing is the standard ruby picks seem to have a little bit more endurance. Not like a ton more endurance, but enough to make it not worth making the GregTech version of it. So we're just going to make the standard ruby pick for now. This will not break obsidian or anything like that. It's basically equivalent to iron, vanilla iron level, except it's not, the durability is not nerfed on it, so that's nice. So I mentioned that little trick. Definitely want to make these for your tools. Use these to make your tools if you have access to any rubies. Now you can also make sapphires or amethyst. I haven't seen any amethyst, but I did find a sapphire. Sadly, one's not enough. I could make a sapphire shovel probably. We're not gonna worry about that because the shovel I've got's got a lot of durability left on it, and we'll get to that later. And I think that the ruby sword might actually be better than the iron sword that I'm using. I'm not sure. Let's check it out real quick. Ruby sword is +6. This is +6. So no, it's pretty much the same, but probably has a little bit more durability. Anyway, let's get into crafting all of the different stuff that I want to make today. So you can see that I've got this all laid out kind of in rows. There's a few things I have to make even before I worry about all that. So one of the things I'm going to need working with all of this stuff is I'm going to need some kind of wrench that's going to work with the thermal expansion stuff. So crescent hammer is going to do that for me. That's going to act as the wrench for most of the things that I need to do. Till I get into doing some actual GregTech stuff, I shouldn't even need another wrench. And I think the crescent hammer may be used as a wrench for GregTech stuff as well. So we'll see how that works out. Now the other thing that I'm going to really need is I'm going to need a cauldron. So I did a bunch of research and basically, actually I didn't do a bunch of research. I just happened to read on here. It says throw into a cauldron to get clean dust. Okay, well, so I've got this impure redstone dust, and I've got a bunch of redstone ore, and I've got crushed redstone. One of that's actual redstone. So in order to get the actual redstone that I need to wash the impure stuff. So I'm going to put that down over here near my infinite water source. Go ahead and put some water in it. Maybe. Put some water in it. What's it? Water? No? Oh, I forgot. If you're using the Sortec texture pack, for some reason you cannot see the water in the cauldron. I have no idea why this is, but trust me, it's in there. It's in there. That's I'm not going to switch texture pack real quick just to show you, but you should trust me, it's in there. If a water bucket doesn't go in, you know there's water in it already. So then we can take this pile of redstone, and we're going to go ahead and grab all the crushed redstone too. So crushed redstone's not really going to help me out very much. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to use the hammer and get the redstone dust. Let's go ahead and get all of that. And that hammer is in danger of breaking. You see that the bar on the bottom turned red. That means it's only got a tiny bit of durability left. I'm going to have to make a new hammer before too long. So if I stand here and I throw this into there, you can see it gets cleaned, and now I have a pile of redstone. Excellent, excellent. I think that's probably going to be enough redstone for everything, I hope. Well, if I run out, well, I know I have a ton of redstone over here, and I can go ahead and break that down all the way into dust with the hammer. And we'll get into that in a bit. So next thing up is I'm going to need to make my node, my liquid transfer node, and some pipes. So to make that liquid transfer node and pipes, let's start with the pipes. Pretty sure that I'm going to need to get some slabs, some stone slabs. I believe it's glass, and redstone. There we go. Some transfer pipes. Excellent. So the next thing would be to make the actual node itself. I need a liquid transfer node, and I did manage to kill an Enderman off camera. I found one down in a cavern in the ground. Managed to get into a somewhat safe spot and whack him to death. He did get me a little bit, but I healed up. I've been borrowing my neighbor's healing device over there when he's not online. I hope you don't mind. He uses apples and syringes and an autonomous activator, and we'll get into that a little bit later on how to heal up, because that's not going to be a concern for most viewers unless you have turned off your regen. So, which like we did on the server here, we've got no automatic regen. So I need this recipe right here. So pipe, ender pearl, lapis. We need to make another bucket. So let's make a new bucket. Put that down there. It was iron, lapis, and let's see, the ender pearl was there. I figure I might as well get 4 of these now. Then if I ever need one in the future, I already have it. Rather than use up a block of redstone just to make a 1. Okay, so next little trick, little chore, is I need to get it down. I want it on the bottom down there, right there, facing the water. So what I want to do for that, let me get that piece of stone. The other piece of stone's probably going to fall out. Yeah, there it went. So what I need to do is I need to temporarily have something I can place it against. I'm going to put that there. And place that there. Then I'm going to break that back out. Then I'm going to... I want to get that. Let me get that. Okay, cool. Not too much trouble. Now I got this piece of stone. Put that back there. There we go. So now I have a transfer node down in there. Now this won't start pumping water until I make a world interaction upgrade. So if we look up that world interaction upgrade, which is going to require 4 more pieces of lapis, an iron pickaxe, and 4 more pieces. Kind of expensive, but that's okay. Well worth it. Pumps a lot. It should take care of all of my water needs, and it can be upgraded further later. So if we put some iron in there, finally lapis on the corners, there we go. World interaction upgrade. And then we just take it and put this in any of these slots down here, and you can see that it is now collecting water. Really fast. You see buckets, 8 buckets, and it's already, it's full. Okay, next thing I need is to put, let's see, the next thing I need is to actually make my dynamo. I want that someplace where I can actually access it. So I might actually put the dynamo right here. Sure, why not? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, whoops, didn't mean to break the torch. That's okay. Put it back up here in a second. So I'm going to take a transfer pipe, put that down there. That's going to connect automatically. So you see, if we break this block out, we should be able to. Yeah, we can see that it's connected. It's kind of hard to see down there. I think I have my brightness turned up as much as possible. I want to be careful not to fall out of here, because I think that fall would probably kill me. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the power. Yeah, this seems like a good spot. So yeah, I think I'm going to need a transfer pipe there too. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put the power dynamo right there. It's going to feed down this direction. And I think I want to actually leave, maybe even leave a space an extra space because I might want to eventually put a cell to collect power and stuff. What was this part for? I forget. For some, oh yes, it's for the pipes. So in order to transfer RF, the only option we currently have in the pack is buildcraft pipes. So what I need is to make, well, if we look up RF, we can see everything that can transfer them, which is just the buildcraft pipes. So I'm going to need a wooden kinesis pipe, first of all. So that's going to be, I believe, and a piece of glass. And we open the crafting grid, there we go, wooden kinesis pipe. And the other kind of pipes I'm making is iron kinesis pipes. So I just need one wooden kinesis pipe because I only have one input for now. I want to go ahead and make all of the iron. Go ahead and get 8 of those. Okay, so what I don't need now is I don't really need these extra wooden pipes. Those would be good for item extraction or whatever. I think that GregTech stuff would probably work a little bit better. So I'm going to put that there. And then it's going to be iron, iron, iron. I need to go one more because I'm planning on making 3 machines to begin with. And I want to leave a space right here because eventually I might have that be a power cell. I'm not sure how that would work. Might even actually replace the... Yeah, I might even move the wooden kinesis pipe over and have a power cell where that's at. I'm not sure how that'll work with power cell, but not working on that today. So next up, to make the dynamo. Steam dynamo is what I'm going for. You see there, this is recipe just to make it lockable. We're not worried about that. We're worried about this recipe down here, which is some copper gears, some redstone, and a redstone transmission coil. So for redstone transmission coil, I had to find some silver. I didn't find very much, but I managed to find just a few pieces of it. We're going to go ahead and cook that up. That's going to leave us some silver nuggets extra. But we'll cook those down. We'll get 40 silver nuggets out of that, and then we will put that together. Put them together. I only need 1 ingot, technically, so let's go ahead and grab that out. I only need the 1 ingot to make the 1 transmission coil for the time being. Later on, I might need to make some more of these for upgrades and stuff to the steam dynamo. Okay, there we go. And next thing to do, let's see, what do we need to make? The copper gears, and yeah, copper gears. Okay, so copper gears must be what this stuff's in here for. So copper gears can be made iron in the middle, copper around. There we go. Thermal expansion copper gears. There's many recipes for these. You don't have to follow the GregTech recipe. I'll go ahead and put that away. That's not use. No, I'm done with that. What else am I done with? Probably need some more of that stuff. Okay, so dynamo. What do we need? I have copper. I think I have everything to make the dynamo. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so that goes there. Copper. That. What am I missing? Forgetting something. Steam dynamo. Oh, piece of redstone. Easy peasy. There we go. Piece of redstone. And we've got a dynamo. Okay, then we got power generation here in a moment. Now, oh cool, it even faced the right direction when I put it down. And it should already be full of water because it's connected down there to our thing here. I think all my blocks that were down there despawned. Let me go check real quick. I'm going to fill that hole. Yeah, I think they all despawned. Oh well. Not a big deal. Let's get back up the tree. We've got plenty of cobblestone to make more blocks for over there. And you may have noticed that I now have a chisel. So that's what I've been making this all out of. This is all chiseled cobblestone. The doors are actually, that's a furnace for the texture on the door. I made a bunch of furnaces. I made a few more furnaces than I actually needed, so I went ahead and used them for door textures. I thought they looked pretty good for an industrial door. Let's see, I need, this is floor in here. There we go. Fix that right up. And yeah, we're good to go. All we need to do is make some machines to power, and we will be in business momentarily. So I'm done with that and done with this. So yeah, there we go. First machine is going to be a maciator. So let's just grab all these materials. I think there's something I have to do. What was it with yeah, the tin and some iron ore, or the nickel and some iron ore. Oh yes, I remember what it is. Let's actually get that going first, because that's gonna maybe take a moment. Do I not have water in there? Let's see if there's enough water in the cauldron. I'm not gonna clean that. Come on, clean this. No. There we go. Cleaned it that time. Where'd it go? It was there. Where'd the nickel? Oh, there. It was on the ground somewhere. Okay, I got the nickel. Now I need to either use the mortar and pestle to. I'll see. I got my inventory is jammed up now. Let's see what I can put down. I don't know if I can use the mortar and pestle for what I want. Can I use it straight to grind the... No. Didn't think so, but it was worth a shot. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how you can get... one of my viewers mentioned this. To use the hammer to get crushed ore, you would put the block in the world and break it with the hammer, like so. And then that's going to give me 2 crushed iron ore. And then now I can take the crushed iron ore with the hammer in a crafting grid, like so, and get... Oh, I broke my hammer. That's okay. I need a new hammer. Need a new hammer anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and make an iron hammer now. I should have plenty of iron left. Oops. There we go. Iron hammer. And then crush this other bit of iron. And finally, throw these into here. And there they go. They got cleaned. Now I have 2 clean iron and a nickel dust, which should create me 9 piles of Invar dust. Tiny. They're tiny, aren't they? Small. Okay, small. Is that gonna... Yes. Awesome. Okay, well I have a pile of tiny dust left over. I only need 2 ingots, so I'm good there. Pull that extra silver out and put it over here. Don't need rubies right now. I do need the flint and probably that and probably that. Okay, so I want to make first a pulverizer. First things first, pulverizer. So we're going to several recipes. These basically just show you the upgrade recipes. This is the one you want to pay attention to. So we're first going to need some machine frames. We're just going to do basic machine frames. It's 10 gears, glass, and iron. So I'm going to need 3 of these ultimately. So let's just go ahead and make all 3 of them up right now. 10 gears, which is going to be iron with tin. 1, 2, 3. 10 gears in the middle, and then I believe it's glass, like so. Iron around, and that's going to give me my 3 basic machine cores. From that, we're also going to need a bunch of copper gears, so let's go ahead and make those up right now. I need 2 for each machine, which is 6. Perfect. I'm a little bit prepared today. I love it. So there we go. That flint, and then I believe. Oh, before I do that, I need to make some reception coils, which is what I have the gold for. The 3 pieces of gold. There we go. 3 reception coils. Just gonna go there, there. I think that's like this. Yeah, gears here. What am I missing? Oh, piston. Forgot the piston. Okay. Let's get a piston together. I think, oh, okay, that's what I had the 4 pieces of cobble for. Excellent. So 4 pieces of cobble, the last bit of iron, the redstone, and then there we go. Piston, that there, split that up, that there, there we go. Pulverizer. Look at that. We are in business. We have a machine. And all I need to do to power that machine is go ahead and put some kind of fuel in here. We'll get maybe, actually I got a bunch of extra in here right now. I'm going to go ahead and grab that Invar because we'll need that for the next machine, I think. Yes. Put a little bit of coal in here. We'll start building up steam. It's going to output 80 RF a tick. We can see back there. Something I forgot to do before I put the machine down is to adjust all these iron pipes. Right now they are set to a very low limit. So what you do to change those, just click them, that increases. You can see down in the bottom corner where it says what the limit is. So there we go. Now it's set to 320 RF a tick, which happens to also be the maximum that the wooden kinesis pipe can draw from there. So I could leave it at that point, or I could go ahead and set it all the way up to its maximum of 1280. We'll do that. We'll go ahead and put them up to their maximum because later on it might not be as easy to get to these. So we're going to set them all to their max right now. There we go, 1280. They're all set to 1280. And we'll go ahead and put back, oops, not the right, need the bricks. There we go. Brick, 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 brick. Okay, excellent. I'll take care of there. And maybe later I'll put a facade or something on that, or cover it up with something. But it's not like a real big deal. I'm up here in the treehouse. We need a little ventilation. I was going to put some windows like way up high and make this look like an actual industrial style building in the tree. Not sure how that's all going to work out. I'm going to do most of that little decorative stuff off camera. That'll also give you guys a chance to make comments. Tell me what you think. You know, how can I make it look more like an industrial building in a tree? I'm not sure how that would even... I mean, obviously, that's fantasy. But back to what I was going to make next was going to be... What was it going to be? Oh, yes, the induction smelter. The other thing, that was what I needed the Invar for. And I want to need another bucket for that. Okay. Well, I have a bucket right here ready to go, so we'll just go ahead and use that one up. I'll make a new one for myself a little later. There we go. Induction smelter. Done and done. Boom. Okay, so now I have a way to smelt some things. I can even make alloys with this. And I can also... what else can I do with this? Well, I mean, I can use... it requires sand if you want to just, like, cook things regularly. So I probably won't use it for regular cooking, but I have these, you know, vanilla furnaces over here if I just need to cook something. Anybody else on the... Yeah, there's only one person on the server right now, so I'll go ahead and sleep off the nighttime, just in case they want to... In case they're not able to. Keep it nice and bright in here. There we go. I know the next thing I need is that. Oh, I know. Got to make something else real quick first, which is I need more iron for. More iron. Do I have more iron? I seem to have run out of the iron that I had ready to go. But that's a good time to go ahead and demonstrate some grindiness, some pulverization. Let's pulverize some pyrite ore, see what happens. There we go. It's going to go ahead and start drawing power out of the dynamo to reserve. That's kind of nice because I can see exactly how much power is coming, out of there. Very slow process, very slow. The basic pulverizer is definitely not fast. These machines are now, these machines are now upgradable. And you can upgrade them for speed and other things. Unfortunately, I think you have to upgrade the machine itself before it will accept the higher tier upgrades. There we go, crushed pyrite ore. And if we look at usages of the crushed pyrite ore, I think we can smelt that straight into a few iron nuggets. Wouldn't want to do that. So this is one of the times that you're going to want to go ahead and crush it into dust, because a dust is going to give you a full ingot. And I just want to go one more, and then I'm going to switch the crushed pyrite over. There we go, do that. Put this away. I'll be using these a lot off camera in order to get some of the backlog of materials, or basically get the materials I need in order to continue on and upgrading my little industrial center here. I'm probably going to have to go into some GregTech machines real soon. Because there's just some things I'm just not going to be able to do without it. But this kind of bypasses a little bit of the steam bronze age and stuff, and we'll see if we can't get straight into the electrical age by utilizing these machines instead of the typical steam GregTech machines. I may end up still having to build one or two of those just to be able to make some circuits. We'll see what happens. So once I get the 3 piles of pyrite dust, the impure pyrite dust, I can throw them into my cauldron over here. Whoopsie daisy, I forgot I used up my bucket. Okay. Can I make a bucket out of tin? I wonder. Let's try that. Can I make a bucket from tin? Probably not. No. That was worth a shot. Can I cook the impure dust straight into an ingot? That's good. Yes, I can. So I don't even need to wash it, unless I wanted to make an ore or make an alloy out of it with some other dust. So I can just take this straight and put it in a furnace, and it's going to give me an ingot for each one of these dusts. So it does, in fact, double my ore. And I have a chance of getting some secondary byproducts when I put it through the pulverizer. The ore itself, not the crushed version. Oh, well, apparently the crushed version too. Look there, I got some sulfur dust. And actually I only needed 3, so let me go ahead and toss those in the furnace. And now I could have just taken the pyrite ore and thrown it in the furnace and got 1 ingot apiece, but using this process I'm actually getting 2 now, so that's excellent. And this is already out of juice, it's already out of power, so let's go ahead and put some more charcoal in here. These are very power hungry machines. That is one of the disadvantages of using the thermal expansion for these processes. They're very power hungry. You're going to use up a lot of supplies of your power. Okay, so final. Now, hopefully I'm going to have something that's going to give me pretty much unlimited wood. And that's going to be in the next episode. I'm going to try to see if what it's going to take in order to get into some mine factory loaded machines, get myself a automatic tree farm of some sort. We'll see how that goes next episode. This episode, we're just putting these machines together. We're going to get them finalized here in just a second. What is it? It's this and then like that. Here we go. A sawmill. This is even better than the oh, did I make an extra one? Oh, I meant to put these machines down one. Okay, we'll put that there. Pulverizer needs to move down. Yeah. No worries though. And yeah, I need 2 more iron ingots. So yeah, there we go. I've got power system, I've got water, I can clean my ore here, I have an infinite water source. I can double my ores now, which is very nice. I'm going to get some byproducts off of this process as well, so that's also really good. And what else? What else is there? Yeah, I think next episode I want to see what I can do to set up some automatic tree farming in order to be able to keep this well fueled. You can see that it burns through charcoal relatively quick, and if I continue to use this style of machines, I'm going to use quite a bit of power in order to keep them running and stuff. So, oh, the main reason I wanted the induction smelter. Is because I can use that to make steel. If we just look up steel, some steel, and click that, there we go. Somewhere in here we're going to find the induction furnace, maybe? Arc, plasma, blast. Okay, wrong kind of steel apparently. Let's look at so many different kinds of steel. So many different kinds of steel. Okay, that's railcraft steel. We need to look at possibly, what is it called? Let's look at this steel. Blast furnace tutor, alloy smelter. No, that's somewhere in here. Arc furnace, plasma arc, induction smelter. There we go, induction smelter. And if we look back here somewhere, actually, let's click that. Come on. Induction smelter. Could swear that there is a way to make it with this. This is just showing you how to break down other steel pieces back into ingots. Shoot. What's it called? Something refined. Refined iron. There we go. Refined iron, which is basically steel. Should have a... Oh, there we go. Induction smelter. So, steel dust. Yeah, no. I'm looking for... There we go. Pulverized iron and iron dust plus 4 charcoal equals a refined iron, which is equivalent to steel. So, I can use the induction smelter to make steel. Eventually. So, yeah, there we go. That's the main reason I wanted the induction smelter. Is just basically so I make steel. I can bypass all the bronze stuff. I can make all my stuff out of steel. And hopefully I can get into some power generation, some GregTech style power generation of electricity without having to do all that steam stuff. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just seeing what I can get away with basically here by doing it this way. And I got myself a little bit of sulfur. I'm going to need that later on. We'll just go ahead and cook those up there. I can make myself a new bucket. And I get back to processing things. So I think I'm going to wrap this up here at this point. I've got me some machines, and in fact, I'm actually going to move this machine down now. It's not doing anything. There we go. That's where I want it. Kind of. And I might have to do some Buildcraft stuff to get some facades to cover those up or something. I'm not even sure I'll even bother. I need access to the dynamo to be able to put fuel on it, so that's not... that can't cover that up. So that's where I think I'm going to leave this. I probably end up doing a bunch more mining between episodes, trying to find more materials and stuff. I'm doing a whole bunch of processing, getting materials set up. I'm going to keep up this organization method of setting up my box full of whatever I'm going to be working with today. That has worked for me well in the past. I'm going to try to keep up with that. That's going to keep me from being all scatterbrained and, you know, in 20 different directions and such. So, yeah, there we go. Basic ore processing without using any GregTech stuff. so far. Like I said, I think I'm going to not be able to continue to avoid it moving forward. I'm going to need some of those machines, some of those special machines, because especially if I want to make plastic, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need some GregTech. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, a thumbs up, all that fun stuff. And until next time, I will catch you later. Look at that beautiful sunset.